topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Tennessee. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show. This is our 16th year of doing the Ask the Expert show, and I am so excited about this morning's show. For the last 4 years, we get your emails and your texts asking us to add a show on Medicare. And I, of all people, should know how important it is to be educated when it comes to Medicare, because I screwed up so bad in the beginning and it cost me dearly. We don't want that happening to you. So we extended Tennessee, which enabled us to get one of the greatest Medicare experts. I can see his head growing right now. You know, the guy has got to be a good guy when the name of his company is Mr. Nice Guy Medicare. Let's welcome our new expert, Tennessee, Randy Hall.
Coming
good morning.
To you live from Franklin, Tennessee. Good morning to you, sir.
Good. Hey, it seems like Randy, it seems like we've been talking about this forever, and the day has finally come.
Doesn't it always come? Good, bad, and different, it always comes. And here I am, ready to talk to you about Medicare.
We are so happy and excited you're going to be with us every month. Tell us about Mr. Nice Guy Medicare, first of all.
Well, so I have been an independent Medicare broker in Tennessee since 2010. So I've been at this for quite a while. Don't let my youthful looks fool you. I've been doing this for a minute. I've been in Medicare since 2007, independent since 2010. And I didn't always go by Mr. Nice Guy Medicare Advisor. I used to go by the very generic RWH Insurance Solutions.
That's boring.
I know, right? It could be, it's like Acme Insurance, you know? So generic sounding, right?
AAA.
Here you go. So me and my wife were talking one day. This is probably around 2018 or so. And she's like, why don't you change your name to something that's about you? And I'm like, I don't know. She goes, well, you're a nice guy. And then it just flashed.
Ooh.
She's like, I was like, Mr. Nice Guy Medicare Advisor. And she's like, I think that sounds good. And
wow.
So I've been calling myself that since 2018.
What a great name. And I'm going to tell you just a little short story, Randy. I got to tell you, my first agent here in Florida, it is so important that you get a good agent. And I know what a good agent is now, but my first agent, I didn't hear from him for a year. Oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden I start seeing all these commercials on TV and we're giving this and we're giving that. I'm going, well, why hasn't he called me to tell me all the new things? And I called him up, which I shouldn't have. He should have called me, but he said, oh, I've been busy. It's like, are you kidding me? So I learned then how important it is to have a good agent. And you're an independent agent. So that means you represent a lot of different companies.
Correct. Yeah. So here in Tennessee, we have different Medicare supplements and different Medicare Advantage plans. And I am authorized to offer, I think, every Medicare Advantage plan. and about 20 different Medicare supplements. And here's how it works, Steve, is like I'm a matchmaker. That's kind of what I do. So depending on your situation, you could tell me, what your health history is, or what your threshold for risk is, what your budget is, whatever pre-existing biases you have are. And I kind of talk to people, and based usually on doctors, drugs, and other factors, I try to come up with what I think is the best approach for them, or I offer them several options. And
Right.
people don't pay me. That's what's crazy or awesome for you guys, the Medicare beneficiaries. You guys don't pay me anything. It's these companies that pay me. And when it
Right.
comes to Medicare Advantage, they all pay me the same. So I'm not biased by anything other than what's best for each person. And when it comes to reaching out to my clients, so there's a fine balance I've found between being too touchy-feely and not being responsive at all. So there's like a threshold in there, there's a word I'm thinking of. It's not coming to me, but there's a spectrum. That's the word. So there's a spectrum. So what I do every year is I send them a letter, usually around early September, and then I'll reach out to them with a phone call in early October to bring them up to date on changes. I used to call more often, but some people, they're like, I'm good. You don't have to keep calling me. So I kind of settled on that. And I always let people know, if you see a commercial on TV, or you hear your neighbor Phyllis talking about the plan she has, I can offer all of them. So ask me. I'll be happy to tell you if it's legitimate or not. Because a lot of these ads you see are totally bait and switch. So they try
Wow. They are?
many of them are, yeah.
Wow.
So they try to give you like the best possible scenario in America, when it might be just a couple counties in America offer that plan. Or what they're offering on TV is for people who have Medicare and Medicaid both, which when people have Medicare and Medicaid both, they have access to different, better plans than people with just Medicare A and B. So I know I've talked a bit, but does that all make sense to you?
Yes, absolutely. Listen, I would have been happy with just a letter, with
Yeah,
my first
yeah.
patient. Yeah, he didn't have to even call me, but I mean, no communications whatsoever.
I
So
have.
this is such an important area. Um, we're getting ready to start with what's called open enrollment
Mhm.
next in October.
Correct.
Tell people what that means.
So there's different times a year where you can enroll in different plans. And then this upcoming annual election period is what you're referring to. It runs from October 15th to December 7th. And that's where you can pretty much enroll in any Medicare Advantage plan you want that's available in your county, or any prescription drug plan that's available in your county. Now, if you have a Medicare supplement, a lot of people don't realize this, but you can change your Medicare supplement all year long. So
Hmm.
I will explain the difference between Medicare supplement and Advantage by the time we finish today. But just for now, I'll let you know, if you know you have a Medicare supplement, you can always change. Say your rates get pretty high. Say you're like 72 years old and you've had the same one since you were 65 years old. Well, those rates could creep up and get pretty darn high. And when that happens, if you're still in good health, and when I say good health, I mean you don't have like COPD, you haven't had cancer in the last 2 to 5 years. Skin cancer is fine, but I'm talking like
Mhm.
internal cancer. If you don't have something like Parkinson's or a serious chronic condition, a lot of people don't realize they can change their company at any point they want. A lot of people think that annual enrollment time, they have to do changing of Medicare supplements during that time, which isn't true. The caveat being, though, if you're not in good health and a company won't take you, then you can't change your Medicare supplement.
Okay.
That's kind of the gotcha. But when it comes to enrolling in Medicare Advantage, you can always enroll in that from October 15th to December 7th. So
that's what I missed up in the beginning. So I had to wait a whole year. And if I would have only like seen a show like this, I would have known. I was shocked, Randy, how many people don't understand about when they, especially when they turn 65,
All right.
what kind of benefits. I just didn't know. And that's what's so great about a show like this.
So let's
We
talk
actually,
about your situation. So you didn't have
okay,
any insurance other than you didn't have it. Did you have insurance before you were 65 at all?
I did not, and I'm self employed.
Okay, so I'm in the same situation as you. So if you are in that situation where you don't have any insurance or you have the ACA, which some people call Obamacare. So
Hmm.
say you're 64 years old and you've got either ACA or you're self-employed and don't have any insurance, you need to get on Medicare A and B on your 65th birthday within three. So you can register. You can go to ssa.gov, which is Social Security Administration.gov, and register for Medicare A and B. And you need to do that up to 3 months before your birth month. There is an exception. If you're drawing Social Security prior to your 65th birthday, Medicare will automatically enroll you into Medicare A and B. Most people don't do that, though. Most people don't activate their Social Security benefits until after their 65th birthday. So if
Right.
you're not drawing Social Security, you will have to go and activate your Medicare A and B. But here's the thing. If you're on ACA, a lot of people think if you have ACA, well, that's insurance. Well, the thing is that it's run by the federal government, and the federal government wants you to be on Medicare if you turn
Hmm.
65 versus ACA. So I've run into this a few times. If you just keep going on and you don't switch over to Medicare, well, the federal government doesn't automatically disenroll you right away every time. So if they miss you and you continue to be on it past your 65th birthday, then they will rescind the coverage post after you starting at your 65th birth month. And if you had any claims, you have to pay all that money back. And then what
Right.
happened to you? You had to pay a penalty, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so like they'll charge you a penalty for your Part B. So you're getting hit from all angles here. So
Randy,
if
tell
you
people what Part A and Part B is.
so Part A, that is what you pay your taxes for, and that is anything inpatient. So when you see your pay stub and you see Medicare on there and they're charging you for that, they're charging you overtime for Medicare Part A. So that's your hospital admittance. That's if you ever have to go to a skilled nursing facility to rehab, and hospice. So and then if you so basically in mental hospital, that's the one I'm for. So if you're being admitted, it's covered by Medicare A.
Okay.
B, now that's what you have to opt into. That's what most people is they have to pay $185, most folks.
Hmm.
And B is for anything medically necessary that you're not admitted for. So that could be anything from like a simple doctor visit to rehab to outpatient surgery. I mean, anything you're not being admitted for that is medically necessary, B's pretty well going to pay for that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then D, that's the prescription drug component. So if you're taking prescription drugs, you also need to enroll in a Part D plan, even if you don't take drugs. If you're turning 65, in my state, there's a plan that's zero. I call it a placeholder plan. So like if nothing else, get the zero plan or the one that's closest to zero, just so you don't because you will get penalized later if you don't have B or D. So and that's what you experienced is what it sounds
Right.
like. Now
And then
Medicare,
D is really good. I got to tell people you definitely want D, Part D.
especially, I mean, if you get put on a name brand drug, you're going to really want to have Part D. But
Yes,
so
exactly.
so Medicare Advantage, what they do is they combine A, B, and D all into one package, and they call it Medicare Part C. So if you hear somebody say, I have a Part C plan, or I have Medicare Advantage, that's what they're talking about. And I believe you said you got, am I allowed to say you have? Am I
Yeah,
allowed to say
I'm on
you have?
Humana
Yeah, so he's got Humana.
Advantage. Yes.
So he's on an Advantage plan. So so the difference, so there's two ways you can go. And if I'm stepping on your question, I do apologize.
No, not at all.
So when you're getting into this Medicare maze here, there's two ways you can go. One way is Medicare Advantage, which I've semi-explained here. The other way is you have Original Medicare as your primary insurance. So this is how I keep it straight in my mind, Steve. Who's your primary insurance? With Original Medicare, you have A and B, and then you have to get a standalone Part D plan. So what people usually do if they're having Medicare be their primary is they'll get a Medicare supplement or a Medigap plan. So Humana sells those too. But so with Medicare Advantage, instead of Original Medicare being primary, you pick the company that you want to basically cover all your Medicare benefits. And what they are able to do that Original Medicare cannot is they can add extra benefits. So when you see these ads or you hear your neighbors and friends and family say, oh yeah, I've got dental, I've got vision, I've got hearing, I've got gym, all this other extra stuff, they have a Medicare Advantage plan because for whatever reason, so what happens in this scenario is the company you pick, in your case, Steve, will use you. Humana is primary. So that's how I keep it straight. And people are like, well, how can it be zero premium? Well, Medicare pays them, whoever you pick, Humana for you, to cover all your Medicare benefits. And because they're more efficient with the same amount of money than the federal government is, because that's what Medicare is, it's the federal government.
Right.
They're able to cover all your benefits and extra benefits with the same amount of money. Now, that being said, there's pros and cons to each. I don't know if you want me to go into that.
Well, you know what, Randy, I got to tell you, people might be shocked at, especially if just say eyeglasses. I had never had to wear, except for reading glasses, you buy at CVS, but when I had to get prescription lenses, I was shocked how much eyeglasses are.
Oh yeah.
And I found out that Humana on my policy covered the whole thing.
Oh, really?
But I was shocked that how much the eye exam was, and then the prescription, and it was. But now I've noticed that it changes every year.
It does.
The different plans. But is it true that it depends on your area code?
Yeah. So when it comes to Medicare Advantage, what's available to you varies by the county you live in.
Yes.
So like you're in Florida, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
So Florida, they've got some of the most benefit-rich Medicare Advantage plans in the entire United States because they have a lot of more seniors there. So it's a lot more attractive to these companies, and it's a lot more competitive too. So they're trying to get Steve-O, they're trying to get, Gladys, they're trying to get as many people as they can on their programs. So here in Tennessee, we have a pretty good Medicare Advantage. Not as good as Florida, but we have pretty good Medicare Advantage options. So the other part about Florida that a lot of people don't realize is the Medicare supplements, that fill in the gaps of Original Medicare. They're double the price, sometimes more than double the price in Florida than they are here in Tennessee. So
wow.
If I have a 65-year-old lady, I mean, I could sign her up on a Plan G or something for like $120 here in the Nashville area, right? Well, if I go to say I don't know county, we'll say Pinellas County because I have a vacation there. In Pinellas County, the exact same thing might be $250. So people are like, well, shoot, man. And then these advantage plans are usually zero. And in
Right.
Florida, they are attractive as heck, man. They just load them up with benefits. So I think many more people in Florida have advantage versus, say, even Tennessee. Uh, I think it's about 50-50. It might be 55-45 in uh, advantage plan with a slight edge now. When I started, it was like 70-30 Medicare supplement and only 30% advantage. So in 15 years here, I've seen the Medicare Advantage market explode. Now, from an agent's perspective, I don't care what a person gets. I just want them to be happy. I mean, that's how I feel. Like I make enough money and I have enough customers that I'm not sitting here trying to worry about, oh, I want to, force them into this plan or talk them into that plan. I really just want to explain to you the differences and what's available and have you be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Maybe draw your own conclusion.
And Randy, I'm going to say this. I bet I get 20 calls a day,
Mm-hmm.
people wanting to talk about Medicare. And it's usually a robot, by the way.
Robot.
It's not, and I want to tell you how important it is for you to find a good agent like Randy that you can trust because I got to tell you, most of these people who call me, oh yeah, you told me to call you next week, which was so untrue. And you imagine starting a relationship off on lies. I would not pay attention to any of those calls you're getting, especially when you have someone like Randy Hall, Mr. Nice Guy Medicare.
Well, so I appreciate you saying that. Most of the people that do call you like that are flim flam men or representing, they're the front for a flim flam person. They don't care about you, generally speaking. You might get lucky. It's possible. But if I was somebody, even if you're not in Tennessee, even if you don't want to use me and you are in Tennessee, here's what I would tell anybody. Go to Google and put in there independent Medicare broker and then the county you live in. And then look for reviews because those are very
Ah,
important. Because the people on there, like if you see 5 reviews, yeah, you can kind of get 5 people, 5 of your friends to go on there. But say somebody's got like 25 or more, like nobody's going to go to that extent. And actually try to read some. If you have the time, try to read some because you know what you're looking for. You might not want want somebody who's high touch. You might want somebody who just checks in with you or answers your phone call. Well, the thing about an independent person, and when you see the reviews, you'll see if they care about their customers or not. The thing is, you're not paying us, so you don't have to come up with any money. So, number 2, if you get somebody who's good and looking out for your best interest, and you don't have to pay them, I mean, what's better than that? So, yeah, and these people on the phone, their whole grift is to see what you have, and then they'll do some work. Hopefully, they won't be totally selfish, but like say they look up your doctors, right? They're like, oh yeah, your doctors they take whatever. Yeah, all your drugs are covered. Well, they might not be telling you there's like a plan that's way better than that or the plan you have
right.
is way better than that because they want you as a customer. They only get paid if you switch to them. So
Ah, well, I told you when we first started, the show goes by really fast.
it sure
And
does.
when it's an interesting show like this is, it goes by even faster. Tell people tell people how they can reach you, Randy.
Well, the best way to reach me is by calling me or texting me, 615 If you prefer to email me, I have a really long business email with Mr. Nice Guy Medicare Advisor, but if you want to keep it simple, you can just write me at randywhall@yahoo.com. So, and I always get those. So,
Well, I knew this was going to be a good show. I'm looking at all the text coming in. people thanking us
Woo-hoo.
for bringing a show like this, which I knew was going to happen. My last text I got is, "You mean the show is over? It's not long enough." Well, you know what?
I have to pay
25
more
minutes
money if
ago.
I want it to be longer,
Yeah,
man.
right. But anyway, I can't wait for your next show. And hey, you can go to iHeart or Spotify, and you can go back and listen to today's show. Randy's going to be with us every month. And Randy, great first show. I'm so
Yeah.
excited we have you, and we'll see you again next month.
Oh, can I talk about my website real fast?
Sure.
So if you want to read into me, go to www.mrniceguyMedicareAdvisor.com. And if I actually write articles on there. So if you want some more information before the next time we talk, Steve-O, there's probably some really good information on there you could look into. And I always welcome questions. Even if I can't help you, here's what I do. My philosophy is this. If I can make your situation better, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you that too. So
Just do me a favor, grow some hair before our next show.
I might be able to procure a wig, but I cannot grow hair.
Anyway, thank you, Randy. We'll see you next month.
Appreciate it,
That's
Steve-O.
Randy Hull, Mr. Nice Guy, Medicare. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we've got more with Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.